we can talk about current events. What do you think the privacy implications of the arrest of Pavel Durov of Telegram are going to be?
So the only thing I think that's been established so far is that kind of a core reason that he's been arrested in France. Again, I'm simplifying this. I still don't have a full grasp of the situation, but there was some law that was passed during World War II that pretty much meant that encryption within France is treated and has to be in some ways regulated, similar to how like guns are regulated as well. So you have to have a license in France to have any kind of like separate encryption outside of the basic standards. And even the basic standards, you might still need some kind of license, which I think is really easy to apply for. And I don't think many people haven't done it. But Telegram never did one. And so I think that's a big point of this case right now is like what's going to happen with that. I don't think this impacts people like Signal because I do think that they planned ahead for this, but it's really hard to tell. There's also, things about like Telegram not properly moderating their platform, but they also kind of opened themselves up to this kind of issue by not using any end-to-end encryption because now they are in some ways responsible for the content on their platform, at least in certain jurisdictions where platforms have more of a responsibility than other countries to moderate the content on their platform. But this is something that's still being debated. Personally, I'm definitely not in the camp that platforms have zero responsibility. I think that it would be crazy to live in a world where platforms just can be completely unmoderated and let really problematic stuff just go completely unnoticed. But I also think that, especially in the context of like Telegram and messengers, there's some things that just, again, can't easily be moderated, and it's really hard to pin that on the platform. So a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of just I don't knows, a lot of just following the situation, and I'm sure as time goes on, we'll have more answers. But as someone who doesn't like Telegram because it's not really a privacy and security tool, it's still something I'm following closely because it's important as it could impact other actual secure platforms. But I don't know what
Yeah,
Jonah's
I
thoughts are.
think there's that. And I think that like if you currently use Telegram, I would be concerned about like your privacy and I would look into switching for sure. But it's as far as like its impact on the larger privacy ecosystem goes, I don't think it's really going to matter. At the end of the day, it's like if I were to describe to you a social network where people like mostly post about cryptocurrency or whatever, and they also happen to have a DM system that has some hacky encryption that you can optionally enable, I could be describing either Telegram or Twitter. Both of those are exactly the same in terms of like functionality and performance and like trustworthiness of the end-to-end encryption system that they have for DMs. I wouldn't trust any of them, and the impact on privacy would be pretty much the same as if like this happened to Elon Musk on Twitter. I don't think people would be as concerned if it happened to Twitter because it's not like Telegram, but I don't think that people have a reason to trust Telegram any more than Twitter or any of these other social network services because at the end of the day, Telegram is first and foremost a social network, and then it also happens to have instant messaging capabilities, and it's a completely different service than like Signal or even WhatsApp or any other instant messenger that you use. It's totally different, and I wouldn't trust Telegram with privacy in the first place. So I think it's definitely a wake up call for people still using it to switch to something. If you're using it for like private conversations, to switch, and if you're using it for like public groups, just treat it the exact same that you would treat Twitter or any other social network, because that's all it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on a soapbox here because it's actually really frustrating because we and other people who care about privacy and security have been saying and screaming this for years now that Telegram is not a tool that in any way should be used for any kind of sensitive conversations, especially if you're not enabling the end-to-end encryption, which is not a default and is again hacky. But so many people who are all about like, oh yeah, free speech and like blah blah blah, they're all on Telegram. And that just makes no sense to me because the best kind of free speech you can have is one that ensures that you actually control your data and only you have your encryption key, which Telegram just doesn't do. And I recently joined a public Telegram group for people who are interested in privacy. It's a privacy Telegram group. And they also opened a Signal version of that group. And some people on Telegram were saying, oh, we don't trust Signal because XYZ. We don't think that it's up to par with blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, Signal groups are actually end-to-end encrypted. Like Signal doesn't actually, they can't even see what these messages are. On Telegram, you just have blind faith that Telegram's not collecting this kind of data. They're totally different complaints. The complaints you have with Telegram are, it's not even end-to-end encrypted in Telegram groups. It's not possible to even enable that feature because it doesn't exist. On Signal, sure, we can start complaining about what they can hand over during a court case, which is 2 data points, which don't really expose much about the user whatsoever. And we can talk about the phone number requirement, which Telegram has as well. But it just really ticks me off, I feel, when there's so much evidence that something is just a lot better than the other thing, and people continue to ignore that evidence. And I feel like this has been, in some ways, kind of a long time coming for not what happened to the owner, but having a wake-up call that this isn't good. And I'm going to read a quote here just to top this off. Their worry is that Durov may hand over encryption keys to the French authorities, allowing access to the platform and any communications that users thought was encrypted. Why would you use a platform where that was even possible in the first place? Where people who are trusted and experts have been saying that's been a possibility for years now. Something like this isn't possible with Signal and any other end-to-end encrypted messenger like Briar, like SimpleX, like Session, because they don't have your encryption keys. Again, if you're using Telegram end-to-end encrypted chats, you're probably fine, probably. But if you're not, then yeah, your trust is now with the French authorities in some ways. So good luck with that. Off my soapbox. I hope that wasn't too harsh. And sorry, one final thing. If you have been using Telegram, it's never too late. If you're like, okay, shoot, I've been using Telegram, I ignored advice. It's fine. We make mistakes. I've used services that aren't great, and I just changed it, and we move on from there. So there's always other options out there. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this Techlore clip. This is actually a highlight from our main channel, Techlore, where we talk about digital rights, privacy, security, and how you can have a better relationship with technology. So if you want the full-length experience, definitely check out our main channel, Techlore. We'll leave a link somewhere on the screen, wherever our editor puts it, and you can probably check it down in the description as well.